My head was spinning so fast, my heart was caught in the past, lost in illusions. What the fuck are we doing? Too blind to see all the facts. I wish that we could go back.
Hey everyone, we're here with Jake, otherwise known as Collectibles Guru on Instagram and TikTok, aka JB the Crypto King on Twitter. And here we're going to discuss a couple of questions that the community has been asking nonstop about Mr. Jake here and his businesses. So the first question that always comes up is, what happened with the DumbMoney deal on YouTube?
So that is a great question. As you guys know, I'm one of the influencers or one of the bigger sellers in the Pokemon community, and one of the largest buyers, a group by the name of DumbMoney, who is an investment group on both social media from Twitter to YouTube. DumbMoney contacted us because they wanted a first edition box. That's the pinnacle of the Pokemon kingdom. So DumbMoney contacts us for a first edition box, and it just so happened that this is the first edition box. This one right here is a real box, but it's been resealed. And what happened was we bought a first edition box about 4 months prior to the DumbMoney deal. We bought it for $150,000, and by the time of the DumbMoney deal, the box had appreciated to $375,000. So we were super excited to sell it. My team and I flew all the way out to Dallas to do this deal in person with Leonhardt, DFW Pokemon, and DumbMoney's entire team. It was a $375,000 cash deal. We had people ready to inspect the box, we had the television crew ready for the deal, and my entire team flew there specifically to record it. So we get there, all three of the individuals look at the box, all three inspect it, all three say it's likely real. So next step, gotta crack it, gotta make sure it's real. Sliced it open, and the most unfortunate thing in the world occurred. The box was resealed. So I didn't even realize I was mic'd. I was so livid, I got on the phone instantly and called the person who I bought it from. I told him 2 days earlier that we were opening the box live and to be prepared if there was an issue with it because I'd be needing my money back. He answered immediately. I didn't even realize I was mic'd for the entire thing, and the entire thing was recorded of me basically chewing out the seller for everything he did wrong. So took the seller 3 months from October, November, December to get me paid back. He paid me back about $50,000 up front and then $30,000 on the 28th of the month, each month thereafter. So the seller did make whole on his promise, the person who sold us the box. But what did we do for DumbMoney? For DumbMoney, they were only out their deposit, which was only $10,000. And that same day we left DumbMoney, we got on a plane, chartered all the way to the opposite part of the country, got there, bought a second box, a second first edition box, which by the way, we had to find the second first edition box in 24 hours flat and find the cash to buy that box. So we found the cash, we found the box, we bought the box and brought it back to DumbMoney in Dallas, where we closed the deal within 48 hours of the first edition box being fake. So people say, why do you sell a resealed box? I didn't know it was resealed. Why would I have spent $150,000 on a resealed box? So the reality is not everyone can know if a box is sealed or resealed without cracking it. You have to crack it. 3 experts in the community, DFW, Leonhardt, and myself, all thought that the box was real before it was cracked. So the only guaranteed foolproof way of knowing is to crack it. And once it was cracked, it was evident that it was resealed. But what did my team and I do? We made it whole at our own expense, all the way across the country, and we brought the real box back for them literally 3 days later to inspect, and of course it was real, and we closed the biggest deal in Pokemon history. So people ask me about the DumbMoney deal all the time. They say, why do you sell a resealed box? And the reality is we didn't sell a resealed box. We sold a box that was sold to us that was resealed, and we made it right by bringing a new first edition immediately within 48 hours.
Okay, Jake, so the next question is, there's a lot of haters coming on your TikToks, just kind of coming out of the woodworks. Where are all these guys coming from? And where are these negative vibes coming from?
It's really unfortunate, sadly, but hate comes from jealousy mainly. It stems from people who are jealous of what I've been able to accomplish in such a short period of time. In the Pokemon space, I've been able to grow exponentially in less than a year. You have a lot of these collectors having been collecting for 5, 10, we're on the 25th year anniversary of Pokemon. Some of them have been collecting for 20 plus years. I've been collecting since I was a kid, but I wasn't collecting millions of dollars worth until 6 months ago. So what happened in the last 6 months is I met some of the biggest influencers in the space, like Logan Paul, like all the major influencers in Pokemon, and the people who didn't have the ability to meet the people who I was connected with, they got incredibly jealous. The B, C, and D list YouTubers, the guys with only 1 million follows instead of the guys like Logan with 20 million follows, the people who are not on Logan's level got exceptionally jealous of the work I was doing with Logan, and so they made a lot of troll videos on YouTube. Those YouTube videos got me a ton of attention, but it was negative attention. So I appreciate the clout and the attention that they gave me because they gave me millions of views. But the reality is, all those people yelling scammer, there's not one that's ever done a deal with me. There's not one that really can afford to do deals with me, because the people who can are the biggest influencers in the space. Like Logan, like a bunch of other famous individuals I can't even name because they don't want to be listed as people who are entering the market. But I have WWE wrestlers I sell to, I have NFL players that I sell to, I have celebrities, I have movie stars, I have actors and actresses. I sell to literally the entire 0.001% of the population, and that makes people exceptionally jealous. So to answer your question, the haters come from the jealousy, and the jealousy stems from the amount of money I've made in the space and who I've connected with in the space. And it's unfortunate, but when you're at the top of any space, even Pokemon, you get a lot of hate.
So Jake, what is your most expensive Pokemon card?
So it's not necessarily the most expensive Pokemon card, but my favorite Pokemon item I have is this guy right here. This gold Pikachu has a story like no other. He is one of 25 in the entire world. He was never sold. What happened with this beautiful gold Pikachu was Nintendo was supposed to do a deal way back in the day. And the deal fell through literally when the CEOs, the executives of both branches met. The deal fell apart. So 25 of these were made for the executives of two different companies that sat down together, and mid-deal, it fell apart. So Nintendo, Pokemon, they packed up their golden Pikachus and they took them to go. Well, one of those executives snagged the Pikachu that was sitting on his desk to go. And when he took it to go, it was one of the only two that ever left that room. So this Pikachu is one of only two that have ever surfaced, and that makes him the rarest, could be the most expensive, but definitely the most fun thing I have in my entire collection.
All right, Jake, how did you get started with all this in the first place?
Well, originally I was in cryptocurrency. In the crypto space, I'm known as JB, the Crypto King. And after the crypto space, I had a nice amount of Bitcoin cryptocurrency that I wanted to pivot into something else. And what I chose to pivot into was Pokemon cards. They had very similar attributes as cryptocurrency that made it very, very attractive for a finance and law major like myself. Those attributes being they're liquid. You can sell them anywhere in the world. They usually appreciate over extended periods of time. They're hard assets, so you can physically feel them. And the best part, you can take them onto an airplane. So my biggest issue is when you leave anywhere, people tell you can only bring $10,000 with you when you go places. Well, if you own cryptocurrency, you can have 50 Bitcoin on your cell phone and no one can tell you otherwise when you travel. So similarly to Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, I liked Pokemon because this beautiful box of Pokemon cards is $375,000 if it was real. No one knows that that box is $375,000. So the ability to move money across the world is fantastic, and that's what crypto provides. It provides borderless transactions. What does Pokemon provide? Almost the same thing in a beautiful art form. So I started pivoting money into Pokemon because I thought it was a beautiful art form that can be moved around the world and appreciated. And on top of it, we're at the 25th year anniversary. I started collecting about a year ago very heavily. So I anticipated a run up to the 25th year anniversary, and I anticipated exceptionally correctly.
So what other markets do you like to operate in?
So the primary markets I actually operate in are crypto, Pokemon, and if you believe it or not, watches. Watches they fit the same attributes that are required of a crypto investment, and they fit very similar aspects that are required of a Pokemon investment. It is mobile, it is liquid, it is valued everywhere in the world. There are huge followings for the top brands of watches, and so those attributes make them exceptionally sought after no matter where you are. So I operate in the Pokemon market, I operate in crypto, and I operate in the watch market. And our website's actually going live right now. It's cryptoluxury.io, and it'll be selling all three for both crypto and cash. So make sure you give that a check out as well.
So how did you meet Logan, and what was the box break thereafter like?
So that's actually a very funny story. I woke up one morning to about 20 DMs from Logan Paul, one of the biggest celebrities, one of the biggest male influencers in the entire space. And what did Logan want? He wanted Pokemon cards. And of course, being Logan Paul, he wanted them super cheap. He is a hustler, he is exceptionally intelligent, and he was entering the Pokemon market and needed someone to supply him with the highest end cards. So he reached out to myself. And what did I do? I happily obliged. I got on a flight, first class, from Miami to California within 48 hours, and I was in person meeting Logan Paul. I'm sure we'll be showing you a couple pictures about that right now. But I met Logan in person. I did a just over $50,000 deal with him for our first deal. I believe it was 6 or 7 Pokemon cards. It was absolutely awesome meeting him. But what was more interesting was how interested Logan was in the Pokemon market. He wasn't interested in just buying one card. He was interested in building not a Pokemon empire, but becoming someone exceptionally important. He wanted to be a first entrant. He wanted to be bigger than a Gary Vee. And so for someone like Logan, that is more important than the actual monetization of Pokemon. For someone like me, I'm in it for profit, in essence. I was in crypto to make money. I'm in Pokemon to make my investment appreciate. Logan isn't as concerned with the appreciation of the asset, whereas he's more concerned about what his image is in the space and how big he can become in something like Pokemon. And in Pokemon, you can become enormous overnight, like I did. So this would be a very easy market for someone like Logan to, in essence, move into. So Logan was super excited about how great this market was and ripe for an influencer to come into. And we spoke about how to make money. And one of the ways to make money would be doing a box break with how much everything was appreciating. So Logan bought a first edition box and incredibly sold it for $11,000 a pack, which made the total value of the box $396,000. A lot of the money was donated to charity. Logan raised over $100,000 for charity during his live stream with over 3.5 million people watching. So what did I decide to do? I bought 2 $11,000 packs. Those 2 $11,000 packs were exceptionally expensive. If anyone's curious to how much money that is, it's basically this much money plus about a little bit more. And so we bought 2 of the first edition packs. Unfortunately, we didn't even get a holo. It was $20,000 horribly spent, but I got the publicity. I was able to become even larger in the Pokemon space overnight, and my following grew immensely. So $20,000 poorly spent on Pokemon, but very well spent on advertising. So I met Logan. Logan was awesome. He wanted to be an entrepreneur and an innovator in the space, and he went from being someone who was a client who was buying Pokemon cards to being someone who was one of the biggest names, both selling packs, and I'm sure eventually he'll probably have Pokemon cards to sell with all the packs he's opening. So I can't wait to see the evolution of both myself and what Logan was able to do in the space, from buying from me for his first purchase, all the way to opening the first edition box that has been open live in years, to whatever he's going to do in 2021.
Speaking of 2021, how do you feel about 2021?
Well, we all know how 2020 went, and 2020 was an absolute mess. But 2021 has something very unique. It has Pokemon's 25th year anniversary. And Pokemon's 25th year anniversary is very important because they have 2 new sets coming out this year. They're bringing Katy Perry on to do box breaks and pack openings. You know Logan's definitely got something planned. I know many other influencers that have bought first edition boxes, including DumbMoney from us directly. And so with all these major influencers with huge plans for 2020, I can't imagine anything but an exceptional pump from Pokemon, both as far as price, as far as views, as far as people entering the market. So no matter if you want to view it as an investment or a collectible, I think 2021 is the year that solidifies Pokemon as a high-end collectible art. It can become Picasso's of our generation. So as more and more people enter the Pokemon space, there are more and more viewers, drives demand, drives price. The supply is going to stay limited forever. The demand will only continue to increase as more people come in. And in 2021, I think there will be a huge increase in demand as many people enter the market due to all the influencers showing it to the world.
So in 2020, travel was very limited, but in 2021, there might be a change. Speaking of travel, what's your favorite place that you've ever traveled to?
That is a very good question. I got into crypto originally because I wanted to see the world. And I wanted to see the world while making money. And cryptocurrency allowed you to travel the world while making money from your computer. Since 2020 occurred, I traveled only the United States. I love seeing the world, and my favorite spot by a long shot, I've got 2 places, New Zealand and Montenegro. And the reason's actually the same. I love when the mountains meet the ocean and it's a complete vertical line. And in New Zealand, they have fjords. It's a Norwegian word for literally where the icebergs carved out the mountains, where the mountains reach the ocean and literally a sheer cliff. Well, in New Zealand, it's a protected World Heritage Site. In Norway, where the word comes from, fjord, it's a protected site as well. Well, in Montenegro, because it's third world Europe, it's in Europe it uses the euro, but it's not actually in the EU yet. So the land is super cheap, and at the bottom of their fjords, one of 3 in the world, you can actually build. And so there are these beautiful apartments and houses that you can stay in at the bottom of these fjords, where literally the mountains reach the ocean in the most beautiful, magnificent way you can imagine. And so Montenegro is one of my favorite spots, and so is New Zealand. Can't wait to get back there.
What are the biggest cash deals that you've ever done with a celebrity?
So obviously the Logan Paul deal was a $50,000 plus deal. I've done a deal with a WWE star. That one was $105,000. I did one with DumbMoney, this one, which is $375,000. So the $375,000 one is definitely the biggest deal by a long shot. But I've done the $50,000 with Logan, the $100,000 with the WWE star, $375,000 with DumbMoney, and that is just the start of who I can even name, because a lot of the people choose to not be named. So the cash deals are pushing billions of dollars at this point. I just can't name all the celebrities, unfortunately.
And last but not least, what is the most valuable item in your collection?
The most valuable item in my entire collection currently is I'd say it's a Deoxy box. The Deoxy box, I actually have one right here. The Deoxy box is pushing $100,000 for an individual item, and although this Pikachu is my favorite, this Pikachu is probably only worth $5,000 to $10,000. Whereas this Deoxy box is well over $50,000, probably closer to $100 or $120. So this first edition box would have been the most expensive, but we sold the real one to DumbMoney. This fake one, unfortunately, I keep as a reminder to always do your due diligence and make sure things are real before buying them. And this one is definitely real because I got it directly from a Pokemon executive. So I'm super stoked about this box. This will probably be for a box break one day, and we may even do something special with NFTs for it. So I'm sure everyone will know what that is by the time this video comes out and we do that box break.
So now, Jake, where can everyone find all of your social media channels, and what do we expect next from Jake, Collectibles Guru, or JB the Crypto King?
So we have major things coming up for 2021, as you'd expect, being the 25th year anniversary of Pokemon. And most importantly, you can find me on TikTok as the Collectibles Guru. You can find me on Twitter as JB the Crypto King. And beyond that, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, the names are there. You can follow me. But we're launching a platform where you can actually buy Pokemon cards directly. Right now, the only spot you can do it is basically eBay or StockX. We're gonna undercut pricing, and we're going to be the exclusive dealer of high-end, older Pokemon products, and maybe even some new ones. You're gonna be able to turn crypto into Pokemon, into cards, into gold, into watches, into some amazing things. And it won't just be crypto. It'll be credit cards, it'll be cash, it'll be amazing. And it's gonna be cryptoluxury.io. So that's what we're building this year. And of course, I'm gonna be major in the Pokemon space as I was last year, but we're also building that new platform to take over the crypto and the Pokemon space.
All right, Jake, thanks so much for the interview.
I appreciate your time.